personal branding is, I like to say, a business asset. So you really need to think about it as an investor. You are investing in it, and it's not something that you will want to finish in the future. You need to really believe in it, that this is something that you want to get for your future, that you want to get for your business. And it also helps you in terms of social selling, because if you build your personal brand, it's something that adapts to. I also had in the past problems that, for example, I was launching different startups and I was hidden behind logo, but my life was evolving. Then the startup was really limiting me because I no longer wanted to, for example, focus only on technology, or I didn't want to focus only on health. I wanted to that my company, whatever I'm building, is actually coping who I actually am and who I am becoming and how I'm growing. And this is exactly what personal brands does. So it's actually grows with you. You can discuss different topics, show people how you live, recommend them different tactics, how to live life, how to not live life.
Before we dive into today's episode, please hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us grow and inspire more people on their journeys. Thank you. Hello, Mari. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the show.
Hello, Tomas. Thank you so much for having me. It's so pleasure to be here, and I'm so excited for this podcast episode.
Likewise. So, Mari, for those who don't know you, can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm CEO and founder of Mario Levi LLC. We are personal branding marketing agency. Currently, one of the best in the world, and I just don't say it because I'm the CEO and founder. But actually, there is not a lot of personal branding marketing agencies that would be able to take the founder and put them as on spotlight on LinkedIn. So we currently have more than 15 people in our team, and we try our best to actually turn the visibility into the authority and to also get the founders more return on investment and also the growth engine behind the LinkedIn. So this is who I am and what I do.
That sounds exciting. And before we discuss it in more detail, can you actually say, Mary, how did you discover LinkedIn in the first place? Because LinkedIn is the main platform that you focus on. So what is your story behind discovering the platform?
This is a really good question because it was like any other person. I actually checked all of the society boxes. So I was recently graduate. I had master degree in diplomacy and I was IT engineer, and I just wanted to get on labor market. However, it just ended up that I was unemployed for 6 months. I was sitting alone in Brussels. I'm actually coming originally from the Czech Republic. I was alone in Brussels. Of course, I had friends, but then it's just happening that your friends, they get employed and they don't have a lot of time to hang out with you. And I was what's wrong actually with me? I really checked all of the boxes that society wanted me. I did all of the university. I was always proactive. I always was coming up with new ideas, etc. And now I'm unemployed. So I came up with that I need to market my skills, let's say, so that I want to create my own personal brand. And LinkedIn was one of the choices that I had. So I chose LinkedIn and I started to target my dream employers. The time I wanted to get employed by European Commission, because from my background of diplomacy and also working, for example, in the past for the Embassy of the Czech Republic in London, I wanted to actually get a job in European Commission. So I started to target them on LinkedIn. And one day, after 1 year of building my personal brand, European Commission came to me in the DMs on LinkedIn that they really like what I do on social media and also on my website, and that they want my services and if I have a company. And I was I don't have, but I mean, I will make it work. So within 48 hours, I established my company in Belgium. I never had experience with establishing the company, neither anybody from my family. But then I just established company and I started to rolling in, and now I'm helping other people to do the same. And I'm always saying to people, there is only one side effect of personal branding, and it's that you can establish your company. So
yeah.
This is the worst case scenario. What can happen to you?
Yeah. But it's quite impressive, having first client, such a big organization, especially them reaching out to you. What did you feel like when they reached out to you? I would probably think that someone is making fun of me.
No, I was wow. I mean, it was also, it's not really a good place to be unemployed. I really am empathic to other people who are unemployed or who end up in some situation like this, because it's really like you don't even receive one email, like you just receive rejections. You don't want to, for example, speak with your family because like you don't have any news to tell them, like good news. And
Yeah.
everybody's asking you, so how is it going? And you just don't have like any good thing to tell them.
Yeah.
So actually, like when I received this positive reply that actually somebody likes what I do and that they like also my independence, that I'm not just like climbing some like corporate ladder. I was just like, oh my God, like, can you imagine? I was like, I couldn't process it completely like for 2 weeks. I was like, is this really happening to me? Like, is it because like of like this thing what I did with personal branding? So yeah, I couldn't like believe it, but it was real. Like immediately we jumped on the interview, and like when they actually selected me, I started the procedure of the company, and I was like, wow, like it's that. Like I mean, like it was not that easy, but it's like that. Like somebody send you DMs. It's like on Instagram, right? Like somebody send you DMs like that. Like commission send you DMs. Like hey, like there is this selection procedure. Do you want to jump on interview? Yeah, sure. Why not? I just have nothing to do right now.
And I think if I remember correctly, you said that you've been like posting or building your brand for around a year and then they reached out to you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Because I think that people often see LinkedIn, they join LinkedIn, they make a few posts, establish maybe their profile, and they expect that, I don't know, after a few weeks or a few months, they start sending the client. So I always like to remind kind of context or time perspective that it doesn't just happen from one day to the other day or from week to week, but it actually takes some time for that to happen as well.
Yeah, we have also this with our clients because, like, for example, like we are marketing agencies. So many times when new clients are joining us, they actually think that we are something like paid ads. That, for example, like they will just pay the service, and within like 1 month, they will get like they will boom like influencers, etc. And personal branding is, I like to say, a business asset. So you really need to think about it as an investor. So like you are investing in it, and it's not something that you will want to finish in the future. You need to
Hmm.
really like believe in it that this is something that you want to get for your future, that you want to get for your business. And it also helps you like in terms of social selling, because if you build your personal brand, it's something that adapts to. I also had like in the past problems that, for example, I was like launching different startups and I was like hidden behind logo, but my life was evolving like, and then the startup was really limiting me because I no longer wanted to, for example, focus only on technology, or I didn't want to focus only on health. I wanted to that like my company,
Yeah.
whatever I'm like building is actually coping who I actually am and who I am becoming and how I'm growing. And this is exactly what personal brands does. So like it's actually grows with you. You can like discuss different topics. You can like show people how you live. You can also like recommend them different tactics, how to live life, how to not live life, and like also like how they can then grow similar thing as you did. It's investment. It's personal branding is a business asset.
Mhm. I completely agree, and I like it. For example, you have multiple companies or multiple businesses, but people may associate you only with that one business. But if you are building your own brand, it's you, and then you can have multiple businesses, but still it's a personal brand. So it doesn't matter how many businesses or ventures or other things you do, and that's
Mhm.
the great power of personal brand. So I like. And
Yes.
Maria, if we come back, like when you said that you wanted to build your brand, how did you actually get the idea to build a brand in the first place? Like, did you see that somewhere? Did someone recommend you, or you kind of came up with that on your own?
I actually have a passion and it's drawing. So I started to draw already like with my father when I was really young, like I don't know, like 2 years old. We were like painting acrylic and oil in our house, and I loved it so much. And then like I just grown up, I was adolescent, I was teenager, and like painting just went like aside, like I had different hobbies afterwards. But then in my 20s, it was really like early 20s, I came back into drawing and I started to paint. So I took colors and I started to like really dive deeper into who I am, what I really want to do. Because I started to travel that time. I was living already in Brussels, and I just started to doodle. I also bought some acrylic, and I chose my colors during that time. So, and it's pink, blue, and yellow. It's like
Mhm.
how we position ourselves as a marketing agency in these colors. Also, like some people can see it really feminine, but actually 90% of our customers are men at the end of the day. So it has nothing to do with like if you attract, for example, more men or women, we are open to both. It's rather like who you really are. And we are here for both. So all of this like started with the drawing, with starting to also realizing who really I am and what I want to do, and where do I feel really strong in which colors. And I am not really like new Picasso. I'm not artist. I'm not like graphic designer. I use painting really for like kind of like meditation to really realize what I see and who I really am, because I'm also really into biohacking and into health. And painting is for me like something where I really project what I have in my head and like what is my vision. And the time I draw everything in these three colors. So it started like this. Then when I started with my website, where I wanted to have it as a blog, so I wanted to speak more about digital policies for my studies and position myself more in politics. And I literally like draw the whole website. So I really draw all of the details on my website, which
Yeah.
were also in these colors. And this was then like what catch the attention of commission, because like the website was like something extraordinary. It was not perfect. It
Mhm.
was there were a lots of bugs. There was a lots of things that you could like say that you could improve. It was not done like properly as like usual developers would do, but it was different, and it was my branding and where it actually started. So it was development over time, and this is also what I usually do with my clients when we are developing their personal brands. I'm really asking them about their passions. So, like, what is your passion? And like, where do you find yourself? Like, where can I see that person who is like smiling and who is like shining? Because people usually have like mask, the poker face, and then like when you start to speak about the things what they like for example podcasting, like for
Yeah.
example, yeah, you can see.
I
So
can,
then, yeah.
and I know that also, like when speaking with people on the podcast, that I can see what you're trying to say. So
This.
I like, and I like this approach as well, like trying to understand the people, and then from that help to like build their brand. So it's not just because I like this color or because it looks cool or something like that, but actually there is some kind of meaning behind it. So I think so that's interesting and a good approach.
Yes.
And out of curiosity, do you still draw? Do you still do it?
Yes, I do. I'm now in Canary Islands, and it was my dream actually to have house on the seaside. So currently I got like a summer house here on Canary Islands, and I just transported my painting gear here in the Canary Islands, and I was just drawing this weekend, and I want to continue in with this. It just takes that time. It's a lot about patience. So it's you can do doodling, for example, in a plane. I also do a lot of like digital drawing, for example, with my iPad, etc. But usually it takes time to develop something to really project what I have in my head. And I really love like when I have like the physical canva and like physical acrylic as well. So now I am in it completely. So you can also follow it on Instagram.
Yeah, of course. Make sure to follow. We'll add the links to the show notes. And I would ask you if we can still see the website that you built or sketched before, but as I remember, you recently launched a new one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, exactly. And it was also a long process, because I always wanted to have website according to my vision. And that one was like extraordinary, but it was like not perfect. Like there was so many bugs, so many things not working. But it was like where it all started. I think that I have somewhere like screenshots. So I definitely can put it up somewhere. Maybe like I will write a post about it on LinkedIn. And then like in the process of like revamping it, making it more professional, I actually hired external people, but it was not me. So I didn't felt in it that like this is my vision, but I was like, okay, yeah, it's professional. It's something what they developed. It's something what they designed. It works, but I didn't really felt that it's what I wanted. And recently we actually extended our portfolio of services. And currently we also do for our clients website development, because many times like you actually can see that you can have the most amazing LinkedIn profile, but if your website doesn't work, if actually people cannot find your lead magnet, if they cannot submit the form or anything like this, it just doesn't work. So we see LinkedIn as an engine for growth of business, but then it needs to work as a whole, as the whole marketing funnel. So, and this is why we plugged in a new service. So currently also our clients are like a digital business college members, which is one of our products where we teach people how to actually plug in LinkedIn into their marketing funnel or into their business. They can actually order with us the landing pages, and we do it for them. And I already know these people. I really know their passions. I really know them in depth. I know really the core of their business, because always at the beginning of collaboration, we do 2.5 hours workshop where I really have like a lot of questions about the business, how it started, what is the pricing, where we are going. And then we are able to actually put their vision of website, of different, for example, posts on LinkedIn into the reality. So currently what you see on mariolevy.com is really like my vision. So I have designed it everything like from A to Z myself, and I just like felt in love with it. It's the most professional version and the most like close to really my style and my branding as possible. Like I couldn't do it better. I really left there everything. And I also didn't want to like focus only on one clientele. And this is like something that I'm a lot like opposing, that a lot of people they are saying like, if you sell to everybody, you sell to nobody. And it's true to some extent. However, for example, with my story, I went from the unemployed person to actually person who owns company. Therefore, I can help people like students. I can help like employees to, for example, get promotion, etc. But we are always, as a marketing agency, we are like focusing all our communication in the most premium customer, which is founder or entrepreneur. But then like on my website, you can actually choose if you're a student, if you're employee, or if you're corporate, because we also have actually services and products for these people. And it doesn't mean that like if you sell to everybody, you sell to nobody, because we have in 21st century, we have many different products, like digital products. So actually I am navigating different products to the different people where I should invest more time and where I don't need to, because students, for example, don't need that much of my personal time. They just need navigation. They just need to like get down their branding. They just need to get down, okay, like this is my passion. This is what I want to do. This is my North Star. Employees usually also need a bit of like a nudge. So like they need to like just get on another level, like how they can be like extraordinary, how they can get promotion, but they don't need me to sit with them, for example, every week for 1 hour to nail down their pricing, etc. So like our main communication is for founders and entrepreneurs, but we also offer products for others, which doesn't include that much of my time, and it's rather handled by digital products. And this is like really great for especially scaling. So if you want to scale your business, if you want to scale your agency, then you can actually get more broad portfolio of the clients and handle them in different needs. So
I like it because, as you said, you actually been through those stages, so you know what it's like, and you actually have experience, whether it's student, someone who struggled to find a job, entrepreneur, in different areas. And I was going to say that I like on your website, you mentioned it, that you can pick I am and from 4 different positions as you did, and then it takes you further, which I think it's quite interesting and creative aspect on the website. So for people, I will again put the link to the show notes so they can have a look if they want.
you can also give me feedback. You can send on support@mariolevy.com in case like you have any like like this just doesn't work, or like or that you like something. You can just reach out and tell me, because I always like to grow. I always like to learn.
Positive feedback only.
Others will be
And
in junk. We don't
the
accept them.
spam folder, I know. I was going to ask you, Mary, also before, when you started on LinkedIn, did you like have some kind of guidance, someone that you followed, or did you do it by yourself by trial and error? What was your, let's say, that first year like? How did you basically start?
This is a funny thing. So I started with LinkedIn in 2019, and this was when I started to develop my personal brand. And then within 1 year, I got my first client and established company. So currently my company is over 5 years old. And at the beginning, I didn't know about all of these like LinkedIn shamans and gurus and influencers. And I was just doing my stuff. I was just posting. Like clients were incoming. I was also hanging out in the EU bubble, what is called in Brussels, and I was happy. I was not like digging deeper into like influencers, etc. And then what happened was that I think it was October 2024. I just saw that in Amsterdam there is happening a conference. It was SEMrush Spotlight. SEMrush, it's a really good software for like keyword search, etc. We are using it in my company to write articles, also to look for the trending words, etc. And I was attending this conference, and I was just like browsing from one stand to another. And there was also like coaching that you could like go to the round tables and you could be coached by someone. And I was looking at the timeline and I didn't know anybody. And then there was one session about LinkedIn, and it was held by some guy. I didn't know his name, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I will just sit. I was like walking the whole day. I will just sit there. I will just listen. And then I sit down. There were like other 10 people, and there was a guy with beard and like bald, and like he was like, okay, welcome to this like coaching session about LinkedIn. So I'm actually like a really big influencer on LinkedIn. I live with it 24/7, and my name is Jasmine Alic. And I
Yeah,
was like,
I knew it when you said Bert and Ball. I
yeah.
was like, it must be
And I was,
Yasmin.
I was like, who is this guy? Like, what he wants to tell me? And then there were like other 10 people, and like we should do the like a round, like in the table, and like we should say some of our experiences with LinkedIn. There were lots of like people, for example, employees who didn't have a lot of experience, or some people just had it as a CV. And then it was my turn, and I told him, yeah, like I actually have business on LinkedIn, and I'm making money on LinkedIn, and it's going quite good. And he looked at me like, you are making money on LinkedIn? And I'm like, yes, I make money on LinkedIn. He's like, guys, applause her because this is not normal. And I'm like, it's not normal? I thought that it's completely normal. And he was like, no, this is actually like extraordinary that you make money on LinkedIn. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know. So thank you, I guess. And this is how I met Jasmine
Oh,
Alic.
that's
And I
pretty
didn't
cool.
know
Yeah.
him. And then like I went to him after the coaching session, and I was like, can I actually take a selfie with you? I mean, like, I don't know you, but I guess that I should take a selfie with you.
I'll take a selfie and then I will do research who you are and be
Yes,
like, oh my god.
exactly. And then I was like, wow, okay.
Mhm. That's pretty cool. And
Yes.
that's how you discovered like
The influencer guru kind of field of LinkedIn, and then it just started to roll in because like Jasmine, he coached Lara, so I found Lara. Then I was with Lara in Dominican Republic in 2025, and it just started to like go on and like
yes,
discovering all of
snowball.
these people. So
Mhm. Oh, it's interesting, yeah. And it's the power of the platform, isn't it? Because although we've got people all around the world, everyone from different kind of backgrounds and everything, but you can meet, as you say, literally people from everywhere. So it's pretty cool, and I like the
yes.
potential of LinkedIn as well.
But it's also like interesting that really like on LinkedIn you can be like really narrow-minded, and this is also something that I hear from a lots of clients that they try, and what you also said at the beginning, that they try, and after like 1 2 months they say like, yeah, it doesn't work for me, I'm closing my LinkedIn account, or they say, yeah, maybe it's not for my niche, or maybe there are no clients for me. And this is exactly amazing example how LinkedIn can be also like narrow-minded, that you can really live in your bubble. Because like I was really like just doing my stuff. I was like in Brussels, I was looking for the clients there. I was not looking to actually expand, for example, my network outside of this. And I even didn't know that actually there is a network like that, that there are actually like influencers and like people like who actually have like millions of followings, etc. And it's sometimes that you also might be just not looking at the right place, that you just need to like extend the network, you need to extend the connections, because at the end of the day LinkedIn is social media like any others. Like if you don't extend that network, then like LinkedIn will always give you what like LinkedIn thinks that you like or don't like. But if you start to like follow people like outside of your usual pattern, then it will also suggest you completely different people. So it's also something to take into consideration to get outside of your LinkedIn pattern, and then new opportunities will come your way. So think about it also in the sense like how your clients actually think. So We, for example, have a client who is doing like luxury interiors. So we do a personal branding for him, and he has a company that is doing like luxury interiors for influencers. So therefore, we are like looking at what influencers actually like, where they hang out, in which groups, who they follow on LinkedIn, and then we get into these bubbles so that actually influencers then come to us, and then we can like sell that specific service and put the people on the call with our clients. So we do also like the call bookings, etc. We do everything like from A to Z for this like premium service, but it's like really think outside of the box what might be like possible, and then people might come to you, not you to them.
I like it, and it's a good point. I sometimes like experience it as well. For example, with the podcast, that sometimes maybe I had like impression that I felt like that I reached out to many people, I spoke with many people, and I'm like, are there still people, to invite to the podcast? But then you start maybe researching more, I don't know, doing more homework or just being more mindful of whom you come across. And I'm like, oh my God, there are so many people, even such a large accounts, and I've never seen them. Like, I don't know, 100,000 of followers. And the fact that I haven't seen them before doesn't mean that they don't exist. I just haven't discovered them yet. So as you say, there is such a big potential, so many people, and don't forget that I think LinkedIn is still kind of untapped potential if you look at how many people use it, how many people that are active. So of course people are still joining, new accounts growing. So as you say, so much to discover there. So it was a great example.
It's also the analogy and metaphor, like when you look at now at me and Tomasz in this podcast. So just like, can you tell me like two, three things that you see that are green? So just like take like 3 seconds, like two, three things that are green. And now just like pause and like just tell me how many white things have you seen? So you would not like immediately like tell me the answer because you were like focusing on two to three things that are green, but like you didn't see the white things because you were not looking for them. And it's exactly the same also on LinkedIn. Like if you just like focus on like specific positions, if you focus on specific people with specific parameters, then you might just not see the other people who just have like slightly different parameters because you were not looking for them. And it's also the same with life. It's same in the reality that like you just like focus on one thing, and each of us is living in the certain like perception, in the certain reality, and that we look at the things differently from
Yeah,
one to
yeah.
another. So
It's like when you buy something new or discover something. You've never seen that before. You didn't know it existed, but then you get it and you're like,
yeah,
oh my God, it's everywhere suddenly.
yeah.
You
It's
know?
like, how could I not see it? How could I not like
Yeah,
like
yeah,
why?
yeah. Quick one before we get back to it. If you like this kind of conversation, I've started sharing short videos on YouTube where I break down what I've learned from more than 150 episodes. Content, podcasting, personal brand. No fluff, just what actually works. Just search Produced By on YouTube. Or don't. And keep figuring out the hard way. And Mary, can you please offer like some kind of advice for people who are maybe struggling to find first clients, or like in general, any advice or recommendations how to find your first clients?
Definitely. So if you are like struggling to find your first client, I would really like look at first at your products, because this was also for me one of the things that I was not really clear at the beginning. And then like with developing of my personal brand and like finding like because to be honest, like when I was unemployed, I was really like open to everything from like building websites to like working on LinkedIn to like doing Instagram. Like I was really like wide open to like a lots of different products. And then like because like I actually then like showcased what can I do, then the client actually came to me. But then when like I would repeat, if I would like need to give advice to the people, like really be clear about what you are offering and like focus on that. So for example, choose one thing, let's say for example landing pages, so that you will tell to people that you are going to provide them conversion that you will provide them the sales pages that actually like gonna give big conversion, and that their clients will like immediately buy within the 3 seconds, and that you have, for example, that you have it like backed by, for example, Microsoft Clarity, where you can actually showcase the cases where actually people within 3 seconds, for example, bought a certain product on the sales pages that you worked on. So I would really like focus on one product that you really like for a certain amount of money. I would not really overthink the price in terms of like, do I ask too much, or like, should I go down, or should I give a discount? Or because a lot of people, they just overthink it in terms of the prices, but rather like really focus on developing that product that is irresistible. So really like work on it, like write about it, write why people actually want this sales page, why you are exceptional in comparison with others, what you can deliver in terms of the return on investment. Like make also banner on LinkedIn, like write the headline about it so that it's search engine optimized. Write even like in your about section about how did you came up with this idea. So like that you, for example, are IT engineer, or that you already developed these things, and they really live by this idea. And then like people start to just buy it because they will see you as an expert in the field, that they actually want the sales page from you than from others. And then it creates also FOMO, fear of missing out. So really like develop one product and then put it on LinkedIn, advertise it, write about it. You don't need paid ads. Everything is organic on LinkedIn, and just make it irresistible offer. And don't overthink price, don't overthink like bonuses, don't overthink like other stuff. Just focus on that one thing and like make it happen. Connect with your ideal clientele, like probably founders and people who already have website, but their sales pages are not as good as you would make them.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's really worth investing or spending time just to develop your profile. Of course, if you don't know how, there are so many people who can help you, whether you can nicely reach out to someone for help or follow anyone. And a great point as well to, of course, there are a lot of people on LinkedIn like offering a lot of services. So some there might be competition, but at the same time, if you find something that is unique to you, or some kind of, doesn't need to be like literally unique, I don't know, area or something, but give it some kind of something that makes you like competitive advantage to stand out from the others. Repeat it enough so that people recognize you, you stand out, and give it a try. Don't give up. It takes time, but it's worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be like exceptional, extraordinary. Like I see that a lot of founders, they're also like overthinking, like okay, like should I do this, should I do that, and like yeah, there is so many things that you should do, and I'm like super like business oriented, so it's really like make it as clear as possible for the people to understand. And I also did experiment on this, like how long it takes for people to realize that you have some product, because sometimes it happens to us that especially in digital business college, our members, they are founders and they launch some campaign, and after 1 week they're writing, yeah, like nobody bought it, so I took it down. And I'm like, do you actually know that it takes 3 months for people to actually realize that you have some product? So actually after 3 months they actually even like get that you have some product. Like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and I have made experiment on my Instagram. I was running every Monday, and every Monday I was actually like making story about it at like at 7 a.m. I'm going for run, and I always made a story about it. And every Monday I did this. The first month nobody noticed. The first month like nobody even like reacted on the fact that I'm running. The second month people started to engage on this, and they started to associate Marie with running. And the third month, people actually started to run with me, and they started to do the Monday morning runs with me. And then I understood that actually, like, it takes time for people to process it. And it's just about repetition. It's about consistency. It's about discipline. Because if I'm going for a run one time, it doesn't mean that Marie is a runner. It just means, yeah, like, okay, like she's nature, whatever. Like, we have other stuff to do than like follow
Yeah,
Marie,
yeah.
like if she's running or not, right? Even like you can imagine like how harder it is than with the products and with business, because you actually want people to commit to your program. You want actually people to commit by paying for your specific product. So you cannot expect them that after 1 week they will immediately get like why they need this product, what is this product about, why did you came up with this product, who you even actually are. So just use this analogy next time when you will do a new campaign, that you should like start to like warm up people. This is also why we are speaking in marketing about warming up, that you really need like to create the fear of missing out, why people need this, like start to talk about a specific topic. And then people just come to you naturally. Hey, like I actually saw that you do these audits, or hey, I actually saw that you have this digital business college. And it just starts to work step by step, but it just doesn't work overnight,
Yeah.
unfortunately, yet.
No, that's the true. I think you can be repeating all the time that it takes time, but still people, I feel like on LinkedIn, like even on DMs, looking for secret hacks or whatever to grow quickly. And if you ask them for how long you've been showing up on LinkedIn, I don't know, a few weeks or a few months, but then see like your example or anyone else that it actually takes years to build a brand and establish authority and something like that. And I like the example that you mentioned with running, because I kind of struggled with that as well, because sometimes, for example, when I post something or even in pinned comments, I repeat something and I'm like, isn't this going to be boring or annoying people if I repeat it all the time? And then next time you see people commenting like, oh, I didn't see this. What is it? I was like, come on, I've been posting about this all the time. You haven't noticed. But then it actually reminds you that people may not pay attention, they may forget, or they just may not see that. So it's worth repeating, because you never know. As you say, you are bombarded with content from everywhere. People have short attention span, so it's really worth repeating that.
Yes. I also studied like really big personal brands. For example, like my big in personal branding, like my really big, like who I admire, who is my idol, is Tony Robbins, because he
Mm.
built on his personal brand like more than 180 businesses. So I really like his ecosystem. I really like how he's doing things, master classes and like events, etc. And you can like really see like when you go to his events, and there is a repetition. Like he's not coming up with a new thing every time, and like he's on stages like every month. He's repeating the things, but actually you, if you are in the audience, you are always taking something different from his speech, because there is a rewiring happening in your brain. So even when you are like repeating something in comments in your posts, etc., it's not about you what you're communicating, because you already know it, but the person who is receiving the information, that person is always taking something different from that
Mhm.
specific information. So it's not about the person who is saying it, but the person who is receiving it. So, and it's really interesting. And it's also like with other big minds, like, I don't know, like I'm like big fan of health. So I have been, for example, with Wim Hof and like with Joe Dispenza and all of these big minds. And it's also nothing else than personal branding at the end of the day, because like Wim
Mm.
Hof, he also made all of his thing on personal branding. Like the whole method is named by him. So it's a
Yeah, yeah,
personal branding. And like ice baths were here for like centuries. It's not that he invented it. He
yeah.
just brought
It's true.
science to it. And he also made the method based on him. And this is how he became the celebrity. But it's again like he's repeating it. You actually can make the ice bath at home. You can just buy the ice, put it in your bath, and make it at home. So why people actually go to the Wim Hof, why people go to the Netherlands, why they go to the winter expeditions, he's always saying the same, like breathe, go to the
That is
ice
true.
bath,
Yeah.
like go outside of your comfort zone. There is nothing more. It's just about the experience, about like you going to another level, like challenging yourself, be close to someone like this, being inspired, being motivated. It's
Mhm.
nothing else than personal brand at the end. What actually drives people to actually follow the person who is building the personal brand.
That is a great point. There can be, for example, someone who's more experienced in that certain area, but still, I will go with that person who's got a brand because I've got some kind of relationship. I know that person, and there's like, let's say, some kind of charisma or the reason just to follow them instead of someone who might be more experienced, have more knowledge, but I don't know that person. I don't have any relationship. So it was a great example.
Yes. And this is also bringing me that I'm now working on making our marketing agency like against the status quo. Because actually, when I decided to make my personal brand marketing agency, I already had clientele, and I was like, yeah, like I cannot do this on my own. Like I cannot do this whole personal branding on my own. I need marketing agency to actually help me. So I went to the marketing agency and I was like, hey guys, like I have a clientele, I have a revenue, I have some kind of like website, but it's not like the most amazing and I need help. And they actually rejected me because I'm not someone like, I was not someone extraordinary at the time. And it's like really interesting that usually like marketing agencies, they are like collaborating only like with already established big brands because they can like see that the revenue is coming. And even though I had the revenue, they didn't want to like build it from scratch. And this is currently what we try to challenge with my company, because the most evil thing in 21st century is marketing, because you are marketing mainly like prep, like crappy food, addictions, and all of these things, which is not right. And like we are trying to actually bring up the experts who are hidden, who, for example, have like solutions, who are engineers, who, for example, work in construction. They have like a really great revenue. They are like big minds. They know how to, for example, build like and how to do architecture, etc. It's just like that they're like super hidden, and either they never thought about personal branding and like market themselves, or they went to the marketing agencies, like mainstream marketing agencies, and they got rejected. So this is currently what we are working on, to really like bring up the people, the leaders, the really like big minds of the world, and like show them to the world, because like we are missing in the world like smart people, the people who like can put our world on another level. Because currently like people who get that marketing is the thing that you need in this world if you want to do whatever, then like it doesn't mean that these people are usually good.
Yeah.
So it can be like whoever actually gets that the marketing is important, like it doesn't mean that that person is good. And they can, for example, tell you on social media, whatever, like that they are the best person, that they think they're good for the society, etc. It's the same like Coca-Cola. I mean, like Coca-Cola also claims you like, yeah, like it's good for stomach. I will make you feel good, sure. But I never saw like advertisement for steak or for banana
Yeah,
or
that
other.
is true. That is, yeah. Yeah, it might not be like the one with the most expertise, but it might be someone who's just the smartest or understands marketing, so knows how to sell it to you, instead of someone who's hidden behind the shadows but untapped potential.
Yes, exactly. And marketing is everything nowadays.
Mhm.
So
I agree. And Mary, just to be aware of time, I want to ask you kind of lighter questions by the end of the recording. So, what are some of your hobbies or things that you like to do in your free time?
So I'm big sport fan. So as I also said many times, like I love everything around health, biohacking. So I love sport. I do martial arts since really young age, because my father, he actually is master of the world in Taekwondo. So he was teaching to me Taekwondo since really young age, but I didn't really like it because it's a lot about legs. So then we started to do Thai box together, which was especially beneficial during my puberty, because he could actually punch me legally in our session, so he liked it a lot. But it was just like within the sport norms. And
Yeah, yeah.
I also continued with martial arts then into the later age. I had accident, then also surgery last year, so still getting back into the full mode of the martial arts. So right now I'm mainly like swimming, running, doing weightlifting, but these are the things that I like the most. Also nutrition, so I'm really like control freak when it comes to like nutrition and the food, and how can I like increase the capacity of my brain, how can I actually be more productive, and how can I like bring the best of me into the business and to my clients. So I'm really mindful and responsible about this, so like my whole lifestyle is around it.
I was going to ask you even before you mentioned it about biohacking and healthy lifestyle. What do you think about Brian Johnson?
Oh yeah, I'm his big fan. So it's really interesting, and I think that he's really doing like big work for the society, because there was missing something like this to actually open eyes to the people that like there is possibility to live different. And I'm usually like saying that I'm second generation of biohacker, because like my parents, they started with biohacking, so I was exposed to biohacking since being a child. And I was like, for example, when I was like in a school, like secondary school or high school, I was like taking supplements, etc. And kids were actually like bullying me because of that. They were smiling that like I'm like old person because I'm taking pills. And I was always a bit weird and different
Mm.
because of the practices what we were doing with my parents. Like we did like hypnosis, we did a lot of meditations together, and like massages, acupuncture, and like alternative medicine as such. So I was a bit weird when I was at school. But right now, when I'm meeting my peers, when I'm meeting like classmates from that time, they look like my grandma, to be honest. And or maybe my grandma looks amazing in comparison with them. So
Yeah.
actually, like my parents got a point, and I'm so glad for this, and I'm so glad that I survived it and that I don't have any trauma from these times. It was just tough, and I am really big fan of Brian Johnson that he's putting this more to public, and he's really strong that he's also facing all of the hate around it because I know how it is, and it's still not normalized. It's still like normal person is considered the one who is like watching Netflix with Pringles in the evening and like not having the consistent sleep time. So this is still our normal, but I am very much confident that this will change sooner or later.
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting. It's like not the same, but for example, like, when you've got friends that they go, I don't know, party or to have drinks, and you're the weird one because you don't drink alcohol.
Yeah. But I have to say that I was also party animal. So like I was not always like this. I was always like really curious and like I always wanted to go abroad, etc. And I was young. So and I'm still young, but now I'm more responsible. And I was also like social drinker. So I'm coming from the Czech Republic. So we are really like beer country. And it took me really long time to actually get outside of the society circle of like drinking beer every time when we celebrate something or when we are happy. It took me really, I don't know, like I wanted to stop completely like drinking beer for 5 years because I didn't felt good. I felt inflamed. I felt that it's not good for my sleep. I felt that it's not good for my health. But it's like the hardest thing is the mindset to really say stop to the society where you are living in. And it doesn't take over the night because like there will be always people who will try to sabotage it. And they don't want to sabotage it because they don't like you. They just want to sabotage it because it's something not normal, because you will no longer be who you were before, and they want to enjoy the time with you. So this is also something really interesting to observe, that like the more you will change your habits, the
Yeah, yeah.
people you will change too.
Mhm. And then, Mary, do you read books? And if so, have you got any recommendations?
I am actually not a really big book reader. So a lot of people would say that like I read books, etc. And I don't want to like be perceived for somebody who I'm actually not. So I'm not a big book reader. Maybe it might be from the school where we were like really like forced to read books that we actually didn't want to usually. And I am more like into videos, more like watching YouTube, like Diary of CEO and these things, rather than, for example, reading books. And there is only two books that I finished until the end. I usually like I buy books, but I usually like turn them upside down and I read the finish, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. And I usually do, and even if I start from the beginning, there is not like there are only two books that I finished until the end, and one is about personal branding. I don't remember the author, and the second one is right now I'm finishing it and is Joe Dispenza, Forgetting the Habits of Yourself, and this I love so much. So actually, I'm not big book reader. I'm always like taking book with me, but it takes time to finish it. And I usually like I'm reading it like when I'm, for example, in a plane, when I'm traveling
Yeah.
digital nomadic. So and there is no Wi-Fi, so just like to save me. But yeah, not big book reader, no.
Yeah, no worries. Or it might be smart if you don't want anyone to talk to you, pull up the book so it looks like you're reading, and I just want to be on my own.
Yes, even though I have actually the opposite, because usually nobody wants to talk with you if you're on your phone. But every time when I open the book, every time people come to me to speak with me, and I'm like so glad because I actually am not big book reader. So like last time I was reading this book of the Joe Dispenza, and it's like forget the habit of yourself, and I was like reading it, and there was like Stewart like came in the plane, and he was like, interesting. I'm actually like investing my whole life into finding who I am, and now I should forget who I am. And I'm like, yes, this is the point. First you actually find out who you are, and then the tweak is that you need to forget who you are in order to rebuild your persona, who you really want to be.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So every time somebody comes to me when I read a book.
Yeah, this was probably not a good idea what I said before.
I mean, some people might have it different. I don't know.
No, I remember it happened to me. I listened to audiobooks, but I remember I was on YouTube reading the physical book as well, and someone came to me, saw the title, was like, I was reading How to Win Friends and Influence People, and someone came over and was like, you don't know how to find friends or something. I was like, come on, I'm just reading this book. So it just reminded me. But Mary, then can you please summarize where people can find you, follow you, and promote any of your services?
Sure. So the first point is to connect with me on LinkedIn, Zamecnikova. Then go to the website mariolevy.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm everywhere, like whatever social media I'm in. So you can find me, Mario Levy. You can also Google me. But usually, like most of the updates are on LinkedIn, where we also have newsletter, and also on our website, mariolevy.com, where we also advertise, like, for example, some masterclasses. So you can also find there some free guides on LinkedIn, how to develop your personal brand, and much more.
Mm-hmm. I will, as always, add any links to the show notes. And then, last question, Mary, is there anything I should have asked you and did not, or anything you'd like to share before we finish?
I think that you asked really great questions. It was a really great conversation. So thank you for it. And I would just remind the people that personal branding is your business asset. So don't think about it. Don't overthink it. Just like invest in it, because it will bear fruits in the future and you will be so glad that you started. So this is the last point.
I can only agree. And thank you for your kind words. I enjoyed it as well. Just trying to be mindful of time, but I could ask many more questions. But I really appreciate it. It was, of course, great to meet you. I think you share great content across many platforms and also live digital nomad life, which to me is impressive. And looks like you're enjoying your life, which I'm happy to see and happy to hear. So want to say a big thank you. Keep doing the great work, and I'll keep following and supporting. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tomas.
Thanks for listening to Produced by with Toman. Check the show notes for all the links, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your feedback. Speak soon.